Are we working? There we go. It only took 15 minutes almost to get it going. So let's see. Do we have anybody in the chat? Yes, no, maybe. Can you hear me? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Hi, guys. Getting it together slowly but surely. You have to forgive me. My library office, is a hot ass mess because it's a hot ass mess. I don't have any shelves, so in the moment, this is what we got. So we're still waiting on a couple people to trickle in. English is difficult. I cut the fan off because that was the first problem I was having. It was really loud and I could not get it to work with my microphone. So I will warn y'all now that I may or may not start sweating because it's still 90 degrees outside and there is no air conditioning. And I'm drinking wine, which not gonna help. But whatever. Okay, so we got 9. Yay. Hi. Yeah, I know my book collection is a bit out of control. I think you can see like some more over here. You can tell I haven't really finished unpacking. It's kind of, I think I should be embarrassed, but not. I got this wine glass from Bed Bath & Beyond. It was a whole $5 and it holds an entire, I was going to say tank of gas. Jesus, can you tell I just got off work? It holds an entire bottle of wine. Hi, Kiana. I am going to put my shelves back up. I have to buy new ones. The ones I had were like cheapy little Walmart ones. And as soon as I took the books off of them in Denver and picked it up to move it, it just like folded in on itself. So I don't have any bookshelves, but I'm definitely going to get some because this is no bueno. I don't like this, especially not with dogs in the house. Yeah, so he's like over there at the moment. They're not even allowed in here because I'm scared they'll get my books and then I might cry real tears and get hysterical and it'll just be all bad. Natalie, hi. Hey, and the book quantity behind matches the number of books like mine are on shelves. Yeah. It was easier when I had them on shelves. It didn't look quite so ridiculous. So when they were on shelves, I could like double them and turn the way they were stacked and just camouflage it. Now I just have piles of books all over the place and it looks like some weird basement layer of a library. Like if any of you read A Court of Wings and Ruin, it's like that room in the basement where the monster was that scared, was it Azrael? No, it wasn't Azrael. It was that little hole with the monster in it. That's this. I don't even want to count. I started to count, but it'd just be damn embarrassing. Okay, so this is our first little, we're going to see how this goes, live show for book club for the month of July. It's a paranormal / urban fantasy book club. Speaking of which, like some of the comments with the name suggestions that you all left disappeared. Like, what happened? Let's see, Kiana says, hey, do you buy multiples? Like, yes, absolutely. So like, you can see like, where'd it go? Children of Blood and Bone. And then I have the Ark that Bethany sent me. And then right here, I'm looking directly across my line of sight, 3 different copies of The Name of the Wind. I try not to stack them together because I don't want anybody to know how insane I am buying all these damn books. It's just bad. But yeah. So, did anybody read both of the books by any chance? Like one was Skinwalker by, what is that lady's name? I was going to say Jane Yellowrock. It's about Jane Yellowrock by Faith Hunter. I don't have that one on me because it's the ebook, but that one is an urban fantasy. And then the second book was Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse, which I actually finished today because I'm a slacker. But they're both urban fantasy, and I did not on purpose pick 2 urban fantasy with Native American main characters, but it just worked out that way. So I'm gonna try really hard not to make comparisons on that level. But this one, guys, I'm freaking good. Goodness. English, Lauren. So did anybody happen to read both? Did you only read one? Neither? Part of one? I know someone, who was it? Was it Brie? Had issues getting through the first book. So we'll just go with Yellow Rock for right now. Skinwalker was hard for me to get through. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie. What's a nice way I can say? It wasn't bad. It just, compared to like some of the other urban fantasy I've read, it did not hold my attention. It was a straight struggle. So for those of you who are joining in who may or may not have read that one or finished it, Skinwalker is about Jane Yellowrock, who is a Native American. She's not a shifter per se, she's a skinwalker. So that left some weird kind of room for throwing in this really cool Native American lore, but it was just done strange to me. It was just done strange. And part of it was with the way she was melded with this beast. And the way the beast talked with this I/we all over the place, it like after 2 paragraphs, it just started to drive me nuts. And it's already getting hot as hell in here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see. Natalie says, I think I own at least 1,500 books. I lost count at 1,322. Holy cow. I'm not counting. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And then Kiana says, I got halfway through Trail of Lightning and I read Skinwalker and then the next 2 to try to see if it got any better. It didn't. Okay, so Skinwalker, I skipped ahead. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I skimmed book 2 and then I skimmed book 3 and then I was like, okay, when are these 2 gonna get their situation together? And I actually like jumped book 8 and they still didn't have their life together. So I was like, this is a series that it just won't be continuing. It just But okay, with some things, Skinwalker was very formulaic. So it followed like the kind of typical urban fantasy stuff we see with the badass female character who is always like dressed in leather, carrying weapons, and she's hired to do a thing and solving crime. She's basically like some kind of a PI or a mercenary or both put together. So Jane was very that, but she also kind of reminded me of, any of you read YA, she reminded me of Selena Sardathian from the Throne of Glass series, in that she was just like, I'm badass, but I like to dress up and I like to shop and I have a long pretty hair that I like to tie and it just wasn't bad. It just kind of got to drive me a little nuts after a while. So there were some things about her character that I didn't like, because for me, a lot of the time she just fell really flat, like really flat. She bored me the entire book and it did not get better. And then when Beast came into the picture, Beast's personality, I thought that might make it more interesting, and it didn't. So Beast's personality made it worse, because there was that odd like third person like jump back and forth with like this disjointed narrative where it says things like jumped on the roof, want to eat the dog, there's a yappy cat, should eat the cat probably tastes good, like little weird odd stuff like that, like to where like it'd be interesting to see the change from Jane's perspective to the third person like weird cat narrative, but then after like the entire book of it, it's just like, all right, dog, bro, okay, that's a bit much. Though I will say I really do like the way that Jane shifted shapes, and I like the detail in that when she had to change it, there was rules with like physics and her mass and where the extra mass had to go or where you had to pull extra mass from. That I really enjoyed. Okay, so let's see. Brandy says, I'm kind of, oh, hi Brandy! I'm still reading Skinwalker and I haven't started Trail of Lightning because I was trying to finish Skinwalker. Girl, if I was you, I might have DNF'd that bad boy, because by the end I was skimming the ever-loving shit out of that book. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see, Kiana said the stakes in her hair threw me. I was like, okay, how big are these stakes? How are you good? Yes. So this homegirl had a legit entire handbag, like, up in her hair. So her hair, the description of the bun was really weird because she kept calling it like a turban. So I kept imagining she was wearing a turban, but it wasn't. It was her hair. So I don't know if she meant just like a really big bun, but she had like knives and stakes. And I think at one point she put like the gun in her hair. I was like, bro, girl. I'm imagining like this big, long, like Buffy length steak like this. And she's got this massive bun on her head, big enough to hide the steak in. I'm like, how are you fighting like that? Like, when I have a towel on my head and it's all this weight piled up here and I move this way, my head goes, like, how in the fuck are you fighting like that? How? That's so weird to me. That was an odd choice, I feel like. Like, I understand not wanting to do the whole, like, really girly, put the steak in the thigh holster type fuckery, but putting it in your hair wasn't really much more badass. And then I'm kind of colored by, if you read the Kate Daniels series by Lona Andrews, how she talks about how stupid that is, because she's like, if it's sharp enough to hurt something and you put it in your hair, you yank it out, you're gonna cut your fucking hair off. So I think of that every time she's like yanking steaks out of this giant turban bun thing she's got on her head. That girl, that weirded me out too. That was weird. Let's see, Brandon said, the first time the Beast narration showed up, I was so confused. I thought I couldn't read from it. It was really, really disjointed. Like, it almost kind of got, it wasn't childish per se, but it was, these are the things like I dislike about trying to write in first person when you're doing characters who are like for instance, when a character gets knocked over the head and they start to get dizzy and woozy and their narrative gets disjointed. That's cool for like that second, because it shows us how that train of thought is changing and how, you know, they got a head injury or they've been drugged. So it lets us know something happened, but that's all I want it for. I don't want to continue with this like weird third person. Ooh, I want to eat that. Speaking of that shit. So what really weirded me out too, as far as this like weird symbiotic relationship with Beast, was that Beast could overcome her and take control a lot, but it wasn't ever to do helpful things. Like, Beast took over control because she had a crush on Ricky Bo, and she was just like, mate. She's like, but he's clearly a liar, and he might be trying to cheat us out some money and my job. And Beast was like, nah, bro, mate. Like a literal cat and heat. Like, did we really have to take it there? She knocked off so many points. She lost so many points from me because of that. I did not care for that whole cat and heat narrative. That was really freaking annoying. She just like, and it wasn't just him. It's like anybody with a penis, and it's like, they're strong, he would make a good mate. Mount him. Like, calm down just a little bit. Like, chill out. Girl, was it only a triangle? So Kiana says I was not down with the triangle. I think there was like the Star of David by the time that for her was over. Because every time a man came to the room, she's like, that's a good option too. Ooh, it's a good option over there. Like, okay. So speaking of Ricky Bo, is there anybody in here that's in the chat that is either from Louisiana or has family from Louisiana, or that is French Cajun or any of that stuff? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Ricky Bo was a walking fucking stereotype, like a huge stereotype, where I was like, okay. So if any of you have ever read the Sherilyn Kenyon series, Ricky would have been Nick from that series, but worse. And it was just like, because he was not only him, the waiter, the witch waiter person reminded me of, what is the cook's name? The line cook from, brain fart. True Blood. He's like a bad parody of that, except he wasn't funny. So that whole interaction, it was like they plucked two characters from True Blood, and then everybody else just didn't fit, and it was weird. Does that make sense? It's really hot in here. So the plot of this book, yes, Lafayette, thank you. He was really bad Lafayette, and I love Lafayette. So it's just like, I was waiting for him to do something cool or funny or sassy. Nope. And then his whole, he didn't even get a like nothing. He was a pointless character that showed up in the end to fuck stuff up again. Just like, so this book was really disjointed for me in a lot of ways. So I also feel like there wasn't a plot. And what I mean by that is just it kind of meandered. So it was just like pointless. Like we spent a lot of time describing everything. There was a lot of description about her bullets and her blades and the rifles and etc., which I really like, but not every time you pull the damn rifle out. Like that's not necessary. I don't need you to describe it every time you draw it to use it. Just like I don't need to know about this giant bun turban thing every time you go out to fight something. I don't need to know about your asymmetrical hemline and where you have just, it was a lot. And I saw like on Goodreads, like a lot of people complained about that. It's just like, it was just a lot of description, but it was description of like nothing important. Kiana says, I think interactions with all of them were just off. They were. And then speaking of interactions, so Jane gets into this, like she's accepted this job from a vampire, right? Because the story starts off, I'm all over the place. The story starts off that she's accepted this job. She's not quite sure it was, but for once, instead of like hunting the vampires directly, like the vampires have hired her. So you would think, like, if I'm going to work for these people, there's some kind of like, not necessarily code of conduct, but there's like a line maybe I shouldn't cross. She's just calling them like derogatory names or names they consider derogatory all the time. Even when she's blatantly in the weaker position, she's like, I don't like to be called so-and-so. Well, oh well. It's like, it reminded me of Homegirl from Outlander, who got dropped into this like position, into this like back in time, and you've got this smart mouth and you're in this land where you're the weakest person and they're allowed to beat a woman to death, and you're just like, I'm not gonna shut up though. Like, not the time for women to live, boo-boo. Not the time. Not the time. I am already sweating balls. Okay, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on Jane Yellowrock because she frustrated me. I know a lot of people said like the second and third book get better, but I skimmed them, and to me they didn't. So it's like definitely not gonna be a series I'm continuing. And I'm really bummed because there aren't enough good urban fantasy stories with people of color, especially like Native American women. There's the Mercy Thompson series and the Jane Yellowrock series, and that was it until Trail of Lightning came out. Ta-da! So that's kind of a bummer. I was really looking forward to it, but it was just really weird. And the whole like must mate everything was weird. And then another thing I didn't like was this whole mystery of her background, because Jane has amnesia of some type. She doesn't know how old she is. She doesn't know where she came from. She's not even 100% sure that she's Cherokee, I think, at some point, which is fine. However, that carried on for like the entire book, and I didn't feel like I got any adequate answers, and that shit got really old. So it's just like the whole book left me with like a bad taste in my mouth, which is really disappointed. So for that reason, because these two books premise-wise are kind of similar, I waited quite a while, and I did not start Trail of Lightning until last night because I'm a slacker. But I stayed up until like 3 in the morning, and then I got up and then I was reading it at work, and then I was reading it up until like 6:15 today. But oh my God, guys, this book is so good. If I could like convince Goodreads to give 6 stars for one book this year, it would probably be Trail of Lightning. Just So Trail of Lightning is an urban fantasy with a Native American female protagonist, but it's not in a world where there are, like, it's not in a regular everyday world where, yeah, there are shifters, there are vampires, and we all know about them, whatever. And this one is post-apocalyptic, and the apocalypse they call it the big water, and it was kind of like the flood, like biblically, but it wiped out billions of people. And in this little like walled in area, it's just Native Americans for the most part. And it doesn't make it like obvious, like we're cutting out like other races or whatever. Just it focuses on this. So the whole book, start to finish, was nothing but people of color, and I fucking lived for that in and of itself before we even get to the damn like plot or anything else. I'm burning up, you guys. Okay, so I got comments coming now. Let's see. If I turn on the fan, you guys won't be able to hear me because it's like this big, ignorantly huge shop fan that's like this big. And it literally like blows my throat back and y'all won't hear nothing. Won't hear anything. See, Brandy says, going to start Trade of Lightning once you're done. Yes, please read it. Everybody needs to read it. Like, there were 2 books that I really, really gushed about this year, and one was Children of Blood and Bone, and the other is going to be Trail of Lightning. I'm pretty much going to be harassing people all year to read Trail of Lightning, so just get ready for that. That's going to be a thing. Let's see, Heavenly Phoenix says, that's the thing I like about these heroines is that there needs to be more character depth instead of forced ROMs or anything, and there needs to be more independence of these kids. Yes. So, again, with like Jane, it was just like, it almost felt like, okay, I need to have a love interest because that typically happens in urban fantasy, or that at least needs to be like some flirtation going on. But it was an epic fail because she literally flirted with any and everybody, and then there was nothing there because Jane, the human woman, was like, I don't want them. But like the beast half of Jane was like, but they would make a good mate because they're sneaky and duplicitous and good at lying and beating you up. Like, I didn't get that. It just frustrated me. But okay, so when you start Trail of Lightning, I didn't read the synopsis. I didn't find out about Trail of Lightning until 2 or 3 days before it came out. And as soon as I read the synopsis, like, yes, I need it. Yes, please. It was urban fantasy. It had a Native American protagonist, and it was post-apocalyptic. Those are 3 things automatically that would make me pick up a book really quick. So Trail of Lightning, for those of you who do not know, I'm going to read like the first part of it. So it says, while most of the world has drowned beneath the sudden rising waters of a climate apocalypse, Dineta, formerly the Navajo reservation, has been reborn. The gods and heroes of legend walk the land, but so do monsters. So for anybody who may have even skimmed the Mercy Thompson series and are familiar with like Coyote and the other Native American like gods that are mentioned vaguely later on in that book, we kind of get a little bit of that in this one, but it's more, you get more of the like mysticism of it and more of a, you know, like a better point of view of it. I feel like maybe because it's not a mix of all these different cultures, like how Kate Daniels, there are like all these different mix of like different religions. And this one, it's just like the Navajo people in their ways and just God. But the only thing that I wish I would have looked up or had a reliable place to look up how to pronounce a lot of these words, because I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. I'm going to tell you that right now. So Maggie, this is the main protagonist in this book. Maggie's story starts off a little bit like Jane. Like, we have some mystery. We don't know her background, but we just know she's accepting this job for these people. But in this one, Maggie is going up to the settlement, and she's going to hunt down this monster and hopefully save the child of this family that hired her. It's a little 12-year-old girl that went missing off in the woods, and this crazy random monster just snatched her away. So you expect in the beginning Maggie to be, you know, the kind of protagonist we usually have to do stuff like this. They're these really like, they might be a little gruff, but more or less they're kind-hearted, and they're going to like Clark Kent their way out of it. They're going to find a way to save all of the people because that's what they do, no matter, you know, how many times they say fuck while they do it, whatever. But in this one, I'm telling you right now, like, shit got real very quickly in this book. So I cannot talk about this without spoiling it for any of you who have not read this book yet. So I'm sorry, but it's coming. So she went to go save this little girl from this monster who is, we don't know what kind of monster it is, just off in these woods. She's hired by this family to go save this little girl. The little girl, when she finds her, is being eaten by this monster, and she's not even 100% sure what kind of monster it is or what the side effects are. So she looks at the little girl when she kills the monster, and she's just like, you know, evil is kind of catching, right? So I'm gonna kind of have to cut off your head. Sorry, chop. I was like, oh, fuck, that just happened. Okay, and that's when I had to put this book down because I started this initially after Skinwalker, and I could not like make that transition from that into like something I really needed to dig into. But holy fucking shit. What I also really liked about this book, this world that's included, is that the detail that's in this book. This is why I like post-apocalyptic books. So there are things like her truck now runs on like moonshine, whiskey, anything with alcohol in it. There's no currency, so everything is trade. There's like regular trade, there's like big trade, things like Pendleton blankets or turquoise, but good turquoise, not, you know, turquoise without the veins running through it, different things like that. Those are the kind of details that I really appreciate when I read an urban fantasy book. Now, as far as Maggie's character, you start to think she's going to give you like Mercy and Kate Daniels, but she is a lot more badass than both of them. And I don't think I've ever said that about those two female characters, like ever in life. Maggie shits on like all of them. That was really crass and that sounded really horrible, but it's the truth. Like she wins hands down because she, instead of walking away and just like, well, we'll just have to fix this later, she's even better at making those hard decisions and being completely unapologetic about it, and then just writing it off like, well, y'all think I'm the monster anyway, so here's your daughter's head in the bag because I couldn't save her, and just took the stuff that she got for the job and walked off like, bye. Oh, shit. So let's see. Ashley says, girl, me too. I will harass every last damn person I talk to read Trail of Lightning. Yes, ma'am. Your review is going to be up tomorrow. I cannot wait. Because when I do reviews like this and I can't edit it, oh my God, I'm all over the place. Y'all should see how much editing I do for my reviews. I'm having to cut a piece here and a piece here to make them go in order. So doing this like off top right now, I apologize because I keep jumping from plot to character, this character, plot, etc. Just says she was quite surprised by the horror elements that added authenticity to the post-apocalyptic monster hunting world. Yes. So that, it surprised me, but I'm one of those people who like the darker fairy tales and the darker retellings and stuff like that. So once I knew it was gonna be like that, I was ready. I was literally in my seat, giddy, like, ooh, this is gonna be good. Ah, yes. There was a line, which was the one I tweeted, that talked about the flood and how basically it was like the death of the rest of the world. And she's like, well, my people have already, you know, suffered. We've already had the death of our people at the hands of everybody else. This is our rebirth. Just So those of you who have not read the book yet, I 100% advise you to go buy like 2 copies and read one and make your best friend read it too, because more people need to read this book. That's a thing. Okay, so after Jane kills this monster and the 12-year-old girl she's supposed to save, we get a little bit more of like a hint of her backstory. So she goes back home, and that's when we kind of get her wondering and thinking a little bit. And we find out that she had this mentor, and it's unclear if they were just mentor and student, or if they were friends, if they were family, if they were lovers or whatever. But basically there was this person in a position of authority who was teaching her and helping her, and he abandoned her, and she's been low-key depressed ever since then. So she lives in her trailer with her dogs, and she took this one job, but now she's done. And of course, after that, now she's got this head of this unidentifiable monster in her truck. She gets dragged into it. So she goes to visit one of my favorite characters who had like the least amount of screen time out of everybody, which is Ta, if I'm saying his name right. He's this older man who takes on a position of grandfather to her, and this little old dude is the cutest thing ever in life. Because in the couple of chapters that we saw him already, he was basically just really, really like, what's the word? He was treating her like a father figure, like a grandfather figure. You need to eat more. You need to do this. Why don't you get out of the house? Don't you want to meet a nice young man? And then that's when we meet Kai, who is my second favorite. It's really hard. All 3 of these characters for me are like right here even, with like a smidge difference. So the only thing is, though, when we meet Kai, he looks really eclectic, and I didn't know how I was going to feel about him, because when we met him, I think he had on like metallic silver shoes, teal pants, a purple shirt, and a striped silver tie. Like, what is going on in this area code? Jesus, all right. But this is Taj's grandson, and Taj trying to more or less get them to link up. He's matchmaking, and it's the cutest freaking thing ever. But basically, from this point on, shit just hits the fan in every single fucking chapter, going forth. And I really should have taken notes because there was so much stuff and so much detail and so much legend. So we meet Coyote, who once again you would have recognized, even if you don't know Native American mythology and lore and legend, and stories and tales from the Mercy Thompson series. So we meet Coyote, but Coyote is a little different. He's still the trickster, but he's a little less like benevolent and I know you need this, but it's for your own. I mean, I know you don't like it, but it's for your own good. He's a little less that and a little more like, you're all pawns on my chessboard. Suck it up. So when he met Maggie, initially, she was a teenager, and he basically like came to her in dreams and terrified the ever-loving shit out of her before the flood ever came. And that's just like the relationship he felt was the one he needed to build with her. So his character is really, really interesting. Another thing that I like about this story is that even though we really don't see other ethnicities and whatever, they're acknowledged as existing. Like, hey, I'm not saying, you know, we killed off all of the white people or all of the black people or all the Hispanic people, but this right now is just our little, this is what we're talking about. This is where we live. So I appreciate it because, you know, a lot of people get all bent out of shape about racial stuff right now, like rightfully, and then some people take it a little far and just every little thing they can think of. But what I really appreciate is that it's like it's written on voices, secondly, but it's not completely exclusive. It's like this world exists, but this is our own little walled in world. So the creativity and the details in this world also are things that I really like, because you have this world that's encompassed by this wall after the flood. And it's not just like this regular concrete wall. It's a wall that's in some places built out of this material. It's like 50-foot turquoise in this one area on the south side. And it's just got all these little different details and aspects of it that you can tell the thought went into it. And I kind of feel like there's a lot of world building that I really want to see in the sequel that she didn't give us. So I'm super stoked about that. But the detail that is in there is freaking amazing. So we get introduced to this world. We get told that Maggie has this kind of a history. It gets hinted at that it's tragic, but we really don't know what it is yet until after we meet Todd, who's trying to matchmake her with his grandson. And then we meet the grandson and see that he's not 100% truthful and everything is not quite what meets the eye with him either. So of course, as what happens in a lot of urban fantasies, they go on kind of this quest, or because if it's not a quest, it's like crime solving, or it's some kind of mystery that needs to be solved. And this one, they're trying to figure out what this monster is. So, God damn it. Excuse me. I'm going to drink again because I'm burning the hell up. So in this one, they're on this mission in like this vintage 60-something, 1970-something giant red truck, which I'm not going to lie, gave me Bella Swan vibes. And I had to like shudder and got the Uchis for a minute because just Bella Swan just ugh. But train of thought just fried. But they go on this mission anyway to try to find out what this monster is, and then we get introduced to Coyote, and then we find out even more because Coyote is a shifty evil little fucker. We get to kind of find out through his nitpicking at Maggie what the story is with her and this ex-mentor of hers, and it's implied that if they weren't lovers, that Maggie wanted them to be. Now, I'm going to try to pronounce this name, but it's just not probably going to go well. I don't want to try to pronounce it because I hate pronouncing stuff wrong. Let's see. You know what? Never mind. I'm not even going to try it. He shall from henceforth be called the asshole. So the asshole who mentored her and was teaching her basically about how to be a monster hunter or a slayer came to her when her powers manifested in that time of trauma that we still don't find out for quite a while what it is yet. So this monster hunter of her, this person who taught her how to be a monster hunter, we get this idea from her point of view that he was this like basically this like stereotypical kind of like Native American guide type character, like this very spiritual, I'm going to teach you how to do this, but you know, these words have power and this thing and this energy have power and you must not be overtaken by this. But as we kind of slowly get more of other people's point of views encompassing the situation, we find out that low key he's a dick. Like not even a little dick. Giant, just horrible asshole. So okay, let's see. Things are popping up. Nezgani, that works for me because I have no idea. And I actually meant to go and see if she had some kind of thing to pronunciation guide somewhere, but I did not look because I didn't start the book until yesterday, and I finished it literally like 15 minutes before I started live streaming. Kiana says, I butchered it even in my own. Yep, same. I just like in person because it starts with N. I was like, Nezga in him, that one. I know who it is. And see, Brandon says, I don't want to be spoiled, so I'm going to bed. Now I'm going to go and rewatch it once I finish. Promise to do better next time. Girl, I almost didn't finish it myself. You are totally good. And Kiana says, I love the magic system. The different family lines given different powers. Ooh, good point. Okay, so that's another thing that I really like that kind of tied in traditional Native American. I don't like calling it lore, but my words are broken. So I'm going to call it lore, but I don't mean like actual lore, like vampire lore. Like I just can't think of a word to call it at the moment. But it ties in those traditional Native American aspects because everybody's like power comes through their family line. There's like, and I like that there's two and it doesn't just pass through one family. It's like there's one for paternal and one for maternal, if I understand that correctly. And I also like that some of them were crazy, like how Maggie's was that she's preternaturally fast and she's a super good killer. And then we have Kai's, who he has like medicine powers, he has weather powers, and then he has basically these silver tongue powers. And then we get some people who have like really big ears and they can hear you very well and discern the truth through their really big ears. And some people are really good at calling turkeys. It kind of reminded me of what is that book? It was a YA book. I don't remember, but it was the one where they had like different color eyes, and that's how you could tell if they were born with a power. And some of the girl, the main character of the book, was really, really good at killing things. Damn it, what is that book? It's gonna bother me now. I just saw it. It's over here somewhere, but I'm not gonna spend too much time looking for it because it was not the Glass Arrow, but it was a green book. God diddly dang it. Oh well, whatever. It's over here somewhere. Graceling, yes. Thank you. It reminded me of Graceling in that because usually people always have the like the badass powers, and you'll get the people who are gifted with like little things that can make your life easier in ways you didn't expect it. Like how Kyle made the point of, you know, you might think it's stupid or annoying that you could just call turkeys, but what if you're hungry, bitch? You're going to need that turkey, so quit complaining, like that kind of thing. I really freaking enjoyed. So it shows, again, like the amount of thought that's put into this book because there's so much detail from like the magic system to like the families, the lineage, the characters, just everything. We also, speaking of characters, have Native American characters. African American characters, I mean, of course we got Native American characters. You know, we also have queer characters. I think there was only one in this book, but we don't know what's happening in the second one yet, which if I don't get to read the second one soon, I might cry real tears. I'm gonna cry. Let's see, another one's popping up. Heavenly Phoenix says, I'm so late on these books, but I need to read them someday. But random question, have you heard of J.C. Andreski Allie's War series or heard of her? Or Nnedi Okorafor. So I have several Nnedi, well, not several. Like this one, that's a Nnedi Okorafor book, Lagoon, and then this is Binti underneath it, and then I think, no, that's Binti Home and Binti underneath it. They're just like really tiny, but if you've watched my videos in the last month, the last time I touched these, they fell on my head, so I'm not gonna pull them out. But Nnedi Okorafor's books are really freaking good too. There's also, who else is another good one? I have not read J.C. Andreski's Allie's War series. I've never heard of it. So I'm going to have to look into that because I have no idea. It made me think of Andrzej Sapkowski, but that's Witcher. That is totally different. That's a Polish dude. Is he Polish? Shit, I don't remember. But that's totally different can of worms. Good Lord Almighty, I might like legit melt on camera, guys. It might happen, but it's okay. Eliza in her books. Hi, or are you leaving? I don't know, but I hope you're just getting here. If so, hi. Let's see. I'm so glad there are like people that I recognize in the chats that are watching. I'm really stoked about that because I thought I was gonna get here and I was gonna be like one person and I was gonna stop talking and they were gonna be like, bye. I like really was scared of that, especially because I was late. And then I wanted to postpone it so I could write notes because I've been like really crazy with this new job and I have not written anything down. So I apologize that I'm all over the place. Next month will be more organized. I swear to God. Speaking of which, if any of you have any ideas for what the book club books, 'cause I'm going to do 2 again, what you want them to be, let me know down, like comment so I can, because I have nothing yet planned for, what is it, July? For August. Nothing. I wish there was a sequel to this so we can read that, but there's not. Maybe Poison Princess. If any of y'all read Kresley Cole books, let's see. Elena's Alcove says, I did read Skinwalker and absolutely love it. I plan to read the whole series. I'm iffy on that, but you know what? Really, the only thing that was like the nail in the coffin for me is that I'm not a slow burn romance. I'm not a lover of slow burn romance. So like her and it was like that triangle that really wasn't resolved at the end. It was like Ricky or George, Bruiser, whatever the hell. And then it was like, I don't know. And then she didn't pick the person that I wanted her to when I skimmed the second book. And then it took her forever to get that resolved. And then she didn't get with the person like she should have gotten for like 6 more books. I was like, bitch, fuck. Like, get your shit together. Damn. Let's see. Kiana says, every damn one. Waiting on the next Alona Andrews. No, not Alona Andrews. Immortals After Dark series. Yes. Fucking yes. Please. I'm reading Poison Princess for Booktubeathon, and I put it off. These are the only books of hers I haven't read. I put them off because they're YA, and I'm scared because YA been doing me dirty this year, but we're not going to talk about that. Ashley says, what did you think about Maggie and Kai's relationship? And luckily, we only have until April for the second book. Seriously? It's coming out in April? Oh, my God. Thank Jesus. No, I've not seen the cover. I should probably go look that up, but not now because I'll squeal hard enough and make your guys' ears bleed. I'm super stoked it's coming out April though. Thank fuck. Like I'm still waiting on the City of Brass sequel. Like shit, it's not coming out till 2019. So Maggie and Kai, I thought they were super cute, like very meet cute in the beginning, as they call it in I think contemporary romance. But I was waiting for I was kind of glad we didn't get a whole bunch of chemistry in the middle. But I was bummed that we didn't have a whole bunch of chemistry in the middle because it like I said, slow burn romance is like I want them to get together and I want them to get together like right now. See, I'm like fangirling over I don't know what. She's like but I understand it because she was still really caught up over Nez. We'll call him Nez. Nez works. She's still really caught up on him. But like it was the only thing that I would say was like it was a little frustrating just for me because I was like, okay, so were they lovers? Were they friends? Was he like an older mentor that she had a crush on? Like that didn't get answered to like the end. So that was a little frustrating for me. But I see why. And when we finally met him, because child, when I tell you that every man, goat, dog, bird, fish, cow and chicken were harassing this woman and getting all up in her business about this man and just nitpicking with her. When your boyfriend coming back? Why he not talking to you no more? What you do to him? Why you're meant to go away? I was like, damn, leave her alone. Shit. It's like every person that she talked to brought this motherfucker up. I would have been mad and stabbing people if I was her too. Like, fuck. It's like you break up with somebody and everybody's like, so, where's Brandon? We broke up last year. Shut up. Next person. Girl, what Brandon? Shut the fuck up about Brandon. And it just goes on and on and on and on. Like, leave her the fuck alone. Damn, son. Like, get out of business. And it was not even just humans. It was the humans. It was the gods. It was like, back up on her shit for a second. Like, fuck. Damn, I might have stabbed somebody in real life if they've been doing that shit. Just like constantly, like, can I get over my shit first? You gotta throw the man all up in my grill every 2 seconds, for fuck's sake. But child, people, when he finally showed the fuck up in a fucking cage match of all goddamn places, he showed up in a motherfucking cage match. And then had the nerve to rub it in her face. Like, at first, I didn't know he was mocking her. But just, you look good. We should get back together. Bitch. Oh. I almost threw my book across the room. Like, I like your fucking nerve. Oh, Jesus. He disappeared for a year. And he's like, well, you don't look any worse for it. Gee, thanks. He's like the equivalent of that text you get after 8 months. Hey, big head, what you doing? Fuck off. Fuck all the way off. By then, I was like so team Kai that I was just like, because throughout the whole book, I was like, he's gonna come back, right? Nez, whatever, the mentor dude, it's like, he's gonna come back, right? He's gonna come back, it's gonna be something. He's totally gonna come back. And then by like the end of the book, I was like, no, let him be dead, let him fuck off. He's gonna come fuck up the Kai situation, just go away, don't come back. Then when he did, I just wanted to slap the ever-loving shit at him. Like, it was kind of like, I don't know if any of you guys have read the Chicagoland Vampire series, but when the person that the main character had a crush on finally, it was just like, you know what? You should be my mistress, and I'm gonna still keep screwing that one. Like, you can't be talking to me. You can't be fucking talking to me. You're not talking to me, right? So this was the best ending to a book as well that I've read in a long while. But I'm going to drink more before I get into that one because my heart is still not my heart. I'm not ready, Jesus. I'm not. So let's see. Kiana says, do you read Shelley Lawrenson or G.A. Aiken? I have G.A. Aiken. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a Shelley Lawrenson fan. I think the last shifter romance book of hers I tried to read was something about badgers. Nah. She also says Kate and Curran were slow. I know it was mostly on Kate's end. I know she had a reason, but I was yelling through every book for them to just bump. Okay, you gonna open a can of worms. You're gonna open a can of worms because Kate and Curran. I'm not ready, Jesus. So Kate and Curran took a long time to get their shit together, yes, but there was more chemistry. So in Trail of Lightning, for me, in the middle, it felt like there wasn't much. Like, she had kind of, like, relegated him to the role of cute little brother or, like, cute little nerd. She's like, oh, you're so cute and small in your weird, bright clothes. Fuck off before you accidentally get shot. Go away. It felt like that. But with Kate and Curran from the beginning, it was just, like, that clashing, which is, for me, what makes me think that a romance is coming, when these two characters immediately butt heads, and then every time they see him, they're like, fuck this motherfucker, which was very much Kate and Curran. So there was always that, like, that heated tension. And then when he started that, not only are you gonna sleep with me, bitch, you're gonna ask for it. It's like, I'm not ready. Girl. Kate and Curran, I fucking love them. I was about to say nobody has lived up to Kate and Curran yet for me, but that is a damn lie. Because fucking Rogan and what is her name? It's a place name. What the fuck is her name? Help me. Mad Rogan and shit. Damn, what is her name? From damn it. I can't think of her name. It's another Alona. It's not Arizona. Is it Arizona? No, it's not Arizona. It's shit. She's from the other Kay Daniels series, not Kay, the other Alona Andrews series. I'll think of it at the most least opportune time. But it's like their romance is like Kate and Curran times 2. Because you think Curran's got a temper problem, Matt Rogan is cray-cray. Like, he's crazy as fuck. Like, when he thought somebody was threatening her because he has telekinetic powers, he walked in the middle of what was like essentially some kind of magical, like, Congress meeting type. It wasn't that high up, but it was a pretty important meeting. He walked in the middle of it with a handful of pocket change. It was about to start fucking killing people with quarters. He's my favorite character ever from that point on. It's like him, Curran, and Casberker are like right there. I don't know why I like crazy male characters. That probably explains on why I attract like crazy ass men in real life. We're not gonna go there. God damn it, what is her name? It is bothering me. And I don't have any of the books over here, I don't think. My Kate Daniels books are right here, but I only have one copy of White Hot, and it's in the living room from when I filmed my intro. But whatever. At any rate. Yeah, girl, Kate and Curran, don't even start on hot. But Kate and Curran only took 3 books. 4 books. They got together in the 4th book, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was the 4th book. But you could tell it was Nevada. Thank you. Fuck. I couldn't think of her name. But Kate and Curran got together in the 4th book, but you could tell it was coming because there was a whole lot of like they would have that like corny ass like lock eyes moment, or they would kiss, or they would get really close to doing something else and she'd like come to her senses. So when it's that kind of thing, there is something there to build on, and I'm okay with the slow burn romance. With Maggie and Kai, I just like I got it, and it happened after she got hurt. It happened after she got hurt, and I was just like, oh, damn it. No, why? And I was looking because I rarely read like paperback books. I usually have a Kindle version as well because I'm extra like that. That's where all my damn money goes. But it's so I can't see how much there is, because if I'm seeing they only just now kissed like somewhere up in here, and I'm just like, there's only like 20 pages left. Wait a minute. No! Because I wanted the romance part and it wasn't. So hopefully all of you who are here right now have read the book, because spoilers like a motherfucker. So the ending of this book, after they finally basically like kiss and she's okay with it because there's good, it's a giant dick, and he fucking stabbed her and branded her in front of a bunch of people and she almost died. Kai broke protocol, risked angering, what's her name? Kat, who is another Native American deity, saved her life, got her back to the people who could help her heal, in addition to him, and then fucking the ending. So the ending of this book, I was waiting for it. I was like super antsy. I had to read it several times because I was so eager to get to the end that I kept like, have you ever been so eager to read the ending of a book that you start skimming shit and then you realize you missed important details? You have to make yourself do it again and actually pay attention. I found myself skimming for like the conversation bits because I want to see like the confrontation. So I did that with this book and had to read the ending several times. But so we find out that Coyote kind of has set the whole thing up. Surprise, surprise, the trickster like fucked you over. I was expecting that in some way. But they set it up in a way that kind of made her distrust Kai and make Nesga, what's his face, almost look like the good guy, which I was scared for because they did that again. They did that in the beginning for a little bit. But when he told her, you know, he admitted that, yeah, I have like the gift of gab, more or less, and this is what happened, and I knew who you were from the beginning, and I befriended you with a purpose, and et cetera, and et cetera. And I was just like, oh God, oh God, oh God, what are you doing? And more of that story comes out. But I do like that she didn't take that opportunity to do something with like harmful intent or take that and just like kill all their progress. She took that and was just like, no, okay, I do trust in this, 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 and this, but this is what we have to do in this situation. Since you think that one of us is going to kill you and that's the dream that you had, let's like fulfill that in a way that'll take Nesga, what's his fucking face, take his guard down. So I'm going to shoot you, okay? Hopefully it doesn't actually kill you. Are you ready? And then she shot him, and then the book fucking ended. It didn't end like right there, but it fucking ended before he came back. Why would you do that to me? I don't like. I couldn't do anything but like stare because there were like how many pages left? This is like the last chapter, and there's still a couple of pages. So I'm like, something's gonna happen. There's a resolution, right? Acknowledgements. No. Where's the rest of the? Where's the? Fuck. God damn it. Like, so I usually don't like cliffhangers, and it's not really an action-y cliffhanger, but it's a cliffhanger. And even without it, though, I will be buying the next book because fuck, that book kept me like totally entranced. I was sitting in the bedroom at work, and patients were knocking on the window like, "Can I get my meds now?" And I was like, "In a minute. Let me finish this crap." I have no fucking shame, none whatsoever. But oh my motherfucking God, the ending of this book, just I'm still not ready, and I've already fucking read it. Like, who does that? Who? R.I.P. my brain, because that book fucking broke me. And I should have started it a week ago, but I kind of forgot what day it is. And I was like, fuck, it's Thursday. Book club's tomorrow. Whoops. But, God. Okay. So, Kai, my sweet baby cinnamon roll Kai, you cannot tell me that this man is not a cinnamon roll. Like, I kind of got set up in the beginning to think he was going to be a little Matt Rogan-ish and a little Curran-ish, because he was sitting there in these really elaborate ass, not elaborate, really eccentric clothes, and busting up in the middle of her and Ty's conversation, like, who are you talking about? Who doesn't know what this thing is? This monster right here, this thing had a lot of E's and apostrophes in it, and I don't know how to pronounce. But he had like this swagger about him in the beginning that either made me think he was just going to be like, he was either going to have that temper, or he was going to be like hardcore party boy, which is more what I was leaning towards. Like, he's going to be alcoholic. He's going to always be like inconvenient, inconsiderate, drunk all the time or whatever. But he turned out to be like such a fucking sweet baby cinnamon roll, and I fucking love him. And he got shot in the heart, and I don't know if he's coming back, and I can't fucking take it. I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I think that calls for another drink. That's just like rude. So, okay, to calm my brain down, because I just got worked up. I think I have another. Let's see, Kiana says, and the cook for me in your undies scene. Oh, you talking about Kate Daniels? Where when she finally discovered that, or he considered them mates, and part of the mating ritual was to feed your mate, and he's like, you'll feed me, and you'll cook in your underwear. I like the blue ones with the bow. Thank you. Yes. Let's see. Ashley says, also, don't read the synopsis for the second book. It's spoiler. Oh, shit. I'm glad you told me that, because I shit you not, what I was gonna do straight after this was read the synopsis and then go look up the cover and then go look up what the second book was about, because I didn't know it was coming out that soon. I think, is there a synopsis of it in the back? There's an excerpt of the next one in the back. Don't read that. Don't don't do that. Should not probably drink wine in the heat, but whatever. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's like 8 p.m. and it's still really bright outside. Washington's really weird. It's still bright at 9:30 at night. And I wonder why the hell I'm so sleepy. And I look up and it's almost 10 o'clock and the sun's still up. Like, I thought that was Alaska. Like, what the hell? Okay. So, what's another thing that killed me in this book? Because there were several little moments as well. Like, overall, what I really enjoyed about this book is that overall, like, each, on a gross scale, the book was just incredible and amazing, but there was also a lot of little individual things, like that quote that I posted on Twitter that just made me go, fuck yes, I need this. I need this in my life. I totally fucking need this. Ooh, I know. So at the end, towards the end, when like Kai is kind of like revealing in a roundabout way that he has feelings for her, and it's when he's trying to stop her from getting in this cage match with this god or this god slayer or monster hunter, whatever the fuck Nesgith what's it. I'm gonna learn how to pronounce this man's name real soon, because this is annoying the shit out of me. But I was literally squealing, and as I was reading this, it was like shift change. So I was supposed to be getting ready to leave work, but I was just like, holy fuck. When she's telling him, you know, that I understand that certain things have to happen. That's the way it is, you know. Being a monster, being evil is contagious and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, who told you this bullshit? Like, what? No, you are not these things. Like, you are this, and as he's saying, he's not saying that I'm in love with you, but that's all I'm hearing. I'm just like, oh my God. All right. I'm gonna see if I can find it. If I don't choke to death or drown on the inside out because it's so goddamn hot. Maybe not. Probably shouldn't try to do that on camera. I keep forgetting that this is like live. Because usually I'll do this, I'll look for a thing, and then I'll just edit it out, but I probably should not do that right now. So what will probably happen is that I will re-record a coherent review of this book, because this is the first time I'm doing a live show, and it's really awkward when I am ill-prepared. Whoopsies, my bad. So, for those of you who are still here and read Trail of Lightning and are fans of urban fantasy, where does it rank on your scale, like compared to other urban fantasies? Not even like taking in like the diversity thing or anything else, just for what it is flat out as urban fantasy. Where does it rank? Because I think for me, like this one is right up there with Alona Andrews, which their writing is my all-time favorite. So like if like Kai and Maggie get their shit together, I feel like their roles will be reversed, and Maggie will kind of be like Curran, because he'll be like that overprotective, like she'll be the overprotective ass kicking one, and Kai won't really be. Kai will be more like Derek. He won't be like Kate. But I feel like it'll push that up to like my all-time favorite. But I'm really bummed, because isn't this only going to be a trilogy? It's not going to follow like the traditional urban fantasy route of like 10, 11, 12 books. Which I really wish it would, because I want to read this woman's writing every day for the rest of my life. Like, happily, I will love it. But there's only going to be 3, I think. I'm not okay with that. This is the kind of book that I'd read and be like, I need to go. I'm not ready for it to be over. Somebody's written fan fiction for this, right? I'm going to go read some fan fiction. And this is very much that, like, I don't want this story to end. I need more of this world building. I need more of Maggie as a character, especially because thus far, this is probably the only urban fantasy I've read with those darker horror aspects of it. Like, Kate makes some hard decisions, but it's always like humor tinged. So where, like when Curran bursts into things and he saves her, and it's like the big half lion just bashed his head into the wall until the skull cracked like an egg, and it has that tinge of humor. Maggie's like, no, I hacked at his neck and hacked at it until his head rolled off, and then I kicked it off which was funny to me because I'm a giant child, and I'm like, I got 300 vibes. She like kicked his fucking head in the Spartan hole. That's just funny to me because I'm a teenage boy in real life or some shit. I don't know. But there's a difference, because even in like the Mercy Thompson series, it has more of a humorous aspect sometimes when it gets to those. But this one is the only one I read where it kept like that vein of seriousness all the way through all the fight scenes, and it let you feel the horror of like being in this battle with this godlike monster and actually fucking chopping his head off. Because Mercy wasn't as humorous, but I didn't get those vibes like I got from here. Just I need these, and I'm pretty sure this woman has won, from what I read, a couple of awards for like short stories or essays or other books that she's written, and I'm going to hunt down all of them because I now need to probably read something every day of hers for the rest of my life to be happy. True story. Let's see. Oh, it's 4 books. Fuck yes. It's like when I found out Amber Bash was going to be 4 books instead of 3. I was like, oh my God, there's the Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, baby Jesus. Oh my God. I have to stop saying that in public. I go out in public saying, help me Oprah, help me Tom Cruise. And people who do not like Will Ferrell, I don't like Will Ferrell. I just seen the movie. Think I'm actually praying to Tom Cruise. Like, somebody actually asked me that before. I believe they asked me, was I a Scientologist? Because I was like, oh, help me Tom Cruise. And they was like, what? Are you a Scientologist? And I didn't get it. It was like, you praying to Tom Cruise. It was like, never mind. Fuck off. Let's see. Kiana says, I'm not a huge fan of Mercy. What? You don't. How do you not like Mercy? How many of them did you read? Because the first one was a little slower and they got a little love triangle-y for a while. And Adam is not Curran-like. Like, Adam is a little more straight-laced. So, like, his whole, I don't swear in front of women, I come from the 50s. He's a little Edward Cullen-ish without the misogyny. but I still really like his character. I am a fan of Patricia Briggs's writing, as you can see clearly. I think between her, Sherilyn Kenyon, Kresley Cole, and maybe Christine Feehan, these are the authors I have like the most of their works. I either have all of their books or most of them, or have read everything they're written or somewhere close to it. Everything else I have like a couple books. Like, see, there's a Sherilyn Kenyon book over here. There's Sherilyn Kenyon over here. There's Sherilyn Kenyon in this pile. Sherilyn Kenyon in this pile. And then I have books that she wrote from her historical romance books under the name Kinley McGregor. I've read most of them except for like the last 3 of the Dark Hunter series, the Dragon ones. So the 2 out of the 3 Dragon Hunter ones I have not read. Dragon Hunter. Of the Dragon Dark Hunter ones I haven't read, and the next one's getting ready to come out, so I probably should do that. But it's booktube on. And whoops. Let's see. So Kim said the first one I really like, Anna and Charles. Oh, okay. Anna and Charles. Anna and Charles, like that series for me was like Poison Princess. I was like, I'm not gonna like it as much, so I'm not gonna do that to myself, and it's gonna color everything else from there. And then when I read it, I was like, Mercy who? Fucking Anna. Hell yes. And it's also like I like that there's that little bit of a shift between series. So Mercy is a little bit more, with the exception of the 4th, I think it's the 3rd or the 4th book, when she got assaulted. And there's that bit of like that issue where it might not be comfortable for teenagers or people who have been assaulted or need trigger warnings. There's like that one book. And then after that, it's vaguely hinted at. With Anna and Charles, that shit, Anna and Charles, the Alpha and Omega series is like urban fantasy, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Like you have to be ready to watch that shit, because the shit that people are doing in these books gonna make you angry. But I fucking love it and I live for it. And because I'm such a mush monster, I love like that they had that it wasn't insta love, it was insta mating, and then they got their shit together later. Because I just want people to be together. Like I'm a sucker for the mate trope. I'm a sucker for the arranged marriage trope. There's like, you don't even have to like each other. Just like get together and have that tension. And I'm here for it, which is why I like Kate and Kernan so much, because they always had that tension. So that might be one of the reasons I like it so much too. But and then another thing is that I didn't like Samuel in the role that he played in the Mercy Thompson series. I wanted to kick him in the face a lot. Like he more or less, like he didn't do anything to her or with her, but emotionally he fucking took advantage of her, because he was hundreds of years old and she was still a child. And he was like, oh, I can have kids with this one and they won't die. I'm gonna convince her she's my mate. What's the dick poke? He's not my favorite, but Charles and how he just like quietly terrifies fucking everybody, I live for it. I live for it. And I also like how it is not the traditional role of like this 1 or 2 main character set fighting off like this big bad. And like with the Alona Andrews series, there's this big overarching monster like Roland, and then there's like the little monsters in each book. And this one it's kind of like in the Alpha and Omega series, it's totally different, because they're more or less like I said, Law and Order, like Stifler and fuck, I can't think of her name. I should probably not do this again while I'm drinking, but we know me, and that's a damn lie. I'm gonna continue to do it because I'm a lush. But it's totally fine. I'm a whole ass adult. It's cool. Let's see. Cam says, I know, right? I need romance in my novels. Shazi and Khalid. Oh my god. Okay, that was extra. Fucking Wrath in the Dawn. Bitch. Where they're right here in front of me. I have so many copies of this shit. It's not even funny. Because one, this is actually Pride and Prejudice. All my blue books were together, apparently. Like, I bought 2 copies of these things. So I bought the first ones on Amazon for super cheap. And then she came to Denver when I lived there to the tattered cover. And I got an autographed one that I almost skipped work to go to because Shazi and Khalid are fucking goals. And then Flame in the Mist happened. We're not gonna talk about Flame in the Mist though, because I'm still traumatized and a little pissy. It's fine. It's fine. This live show is a shit show. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a hot ass mess. Okay, let's see. We're gonna talk about where I'm not gonna fucking embarrass myself again. There's my copy of The Wrath and the Dawn, right under Flame in the Mist. If you want epic romances and you like high fantasy, if you read graphic novels, I got a good one for you. Where is it? This puppy is 40 years old, and this particular issue is a 30-year-old, like 10-year anniversary edition that I met the authors and got signed because I'm obsessed. But this shit is amazeballs. So it was written in the 70s, which you can tell by the artwork because the homeboy got on bell bottoms, but it has an interracial couple, more or less, because he's light-skinned with blonde hair and blue eyes, and she's dark-skinned with reddish-brown hair. She's of the desert people, and he lived in the forest. But this set is what single-handedly started off my love for paranormal romance, because they're elves, not fae, but actual elves, and his tribe are... These are gonna fall on my head soon, and when they do, I'm just gonna lay here, and somebody's gonna have to call 911 because you do something that shitty in front of that many witnesses. I just gotta pretend I'm dead. I'm getting up. It's the only way people don't laugh. You pretend you really hurt. Anyway, his tribe is the Wolf Riders. They're not like distantly. They're like their bloodline is blended with wolves, but they actually ride the wolves. So they're not shifters per se, but they are shifters higher up their line. But because it's written in the 70s, they do have kind of like a free love situation going on, but they also do the whole fated mates thing. So there is, where is it? Is my favorite scene in the whole book because they're fated mates. And so because he's like, his bloodline is blended with animals, he's so much here for it. And she is not having it because, of course, she's got this whole women's lib thing going on. She's like, I don't know you. Just because your spirit or whatever says we're mates, I don't fucking believe it. But when they finally like got together, that little scene down here, my heart just, you should read this. Not only is the artwork amazing, the story's amazing, just be aware because it was written in the 70s. It's a little free love-ish in some spots. It's not blatant, it's discreet. There is no nudity, but if you imagine fae as hippies that went to Woodstock, that's pretty much what you get in some aspects of it. Like there's no like cheating on their mates or anything like that, but it is totally very free lovey, except with no drugs. Let's see. I am all over the place, guys. All over the place. Save me. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, I definitely recommend that. And if you've not read Trail of Lightning, I don't know what you're doing with yourself. I'm going to go pre-order the next one if it's even available for pre-order because I need this in my life. There are not, even in 2018, very many own voice novels that are good. And somebody's going to have a shit fit when I say this, but it's the truth. There are a lot of own voices novels that get hype because they're own voices. And there is no thought to whether or not the narrative is problematic or not. There is no thought as to not own voices. They're not own voices. I'm sorry. Diverse. There are a lot of diverse novels that are not written necessarily as own voices that are problematic, but because, you know, as Black people, as women, as, you know, I'm not, other than being an ally, I'm not necessarily in LGBTQ plus, I can't remember all the other letters, community, other than being an ally. But you want to see yourself in these books. So you're just like, it's about, because my grandfather is Native American, so my family's part Native American. Then asked me what tribe. He had some kind of falling out, so he won't even talk about it. He never told us. I'm assuming it's Hopi because they're from Mississippi. That could be vastly wrong. I'm not sure. But as a person who's part Black and part Native American, I get super excited when I see books with Native American characters in them. But a lot of the times, if they're not written as I think the Jane Yellowrock series, she lives in an area that's heavily Native American, but I don't think Faith Hunter is Native American. I could be wrong, but you run the risk of getting very tropey in a way that turns very stereotypical. So there are a lot of diverse books out that are more harmful than good. I feel like it just is what it is. I feel like people a lot of times get caught up in like diversity bingo and we need more diverse books, but they aren't really all that cognizant when they read them, so it has like a harmful narrative, and then we get all this shit on the market. But most of us are so happy to read them because you're like, dude, this book has Black main characters, this book has, gay or transgender or Native American or Hispanic or Asian or whatever, but you have to be careful about who wrote it because it might do more harm than good. But sometimes we buy them anyway because we're just so grateful to have it. So we'll say, like, especially the urban fantasy field urban fantasy is one of those genres like romance, contemporary romance and paranormal romance, to where a lot of indie authors write them on Kindle Unlimited and etc. Can you tell I'm trying to cover up the wine boob? There is a really heavy market for paranormal romance, a really crowded market for paranormal romance, for urban fantasy, for contemporary romance, in the indie publishing world. And because of that, we get a lot of stuff that ends up getting popular that's not necessarily good, and that sucks, but it's the truth. And then because of that, we get a lot of diverse stuff that is kind of harmful. For instance, I read this book that was published and it was a while back. So by this time, it was probably one of the only urban fantasy series with a Black character, because it was like 10, 15 years ago. But the whole book is written in Ebonics. Like, I don't mean just the characters, because if I'm writing this character speaks that way, and I'm like, I ain't got no whatever, that's fine. But from third person narrative, it was written in Ebonics. So like the G's were left off and there are apostrophes, and it was just really frustrating because I'm like, yeah, can you not send my people back another 20 years, please? Like, people already think, what they think about certain things. Can we not like feed this stereotype? But it was literally at that time the only urban fantasy series I could find with people of color. So this, I'm really, really really particularly grateful for, because we still kind of have a diverse market, but it's not necessarily full of 100% good stuff, if I'm just going to be real with it. And I've tried to avoid saying this on BookTube, because other people are like, but we need more diversity. And some people who get extra with it are going to get like really, really extra and start getting mad at me. But I mean, it's the truth. You can do, as a person who is marginalized, I would rather be represented like this than be represented in a way that's harmful, but grateful for it, because my people represent in a book. That's not helping. That's making it worse. Let's not perpetualize bullshit, please. Please. So for this, like, I'm super stoked for it. And that's another reason I like the Mercy Thompson series so much, is because we get like Mercy Thompson, who's half white and half Native American, but she doesn't have like that whole mystic Indian trope thing. Coyote does a little bit, but that's Coyote's character per like the origin of Coyote anyway, so it's okay. But like Jane Yellowrock, she was doing a lot with that, and it got to be kind of much. Like, she got a little stereotypical, and then Ricky got a little stereotypical, and then that's another one where the character was speaking any, like, not necessarily Ebonics, but it was like a lot. It's like when you read historical romances, and you read historical romances that are set in Scotland, and instead of writing in the narrator, this character speaks, with a, like, if it's in Louisiana, she's got a Creole accent, or a Cajun accent, or a Louisiana accent. She got a Southern drawl. She got a this. You feel the need to type out that like Nowlins, Nawlins, instead of said New Orleans with an accent. Like once or twice, it's cute. It's okay. But 37 times one paragraph, one paragraph, I don't. It's like reading a book about Scottish characters and their accent is just spelled out and words are misspelled on purpose to portray that accent. That happens a lot in books with Black characters, Native American characters. It's another thing that adds to the stereotype. And I'm like, can we just say that person has a Southern drawl a couple of times? And like when they got angry, like their drawl got thicker or whatever. We don't gotta like spell shit fucked up the whole book so we know it's the Black character talking. Can we not do that? I think I'm getting kind of all over the place now, but it might be time to end this soon. But I haven't finished my wine. Does anybody have any points they want to bring up with either this book or Skinwalker before I melt half to death stuff? Nobody's gonna know? Okay. So then, because I have kept some of you guys hostage for like an hour and a half, I should probably get off of here and go figure out what in the blue shit I'm gonna how in the hell I'm gonna make this into a cognizant review for this. I don't want to review the Jane Yellowrock book because I didn't like it all that much. But choices for next month, because this month we did both urban fantasy. Some of the books that I have on hand that I did not read, we have Wake of Vultures by Lila Bowden. This one is another one that has diverse characters. This one has a Black female main character. This one is set in like the Wild West days. So I believe something happened to her that made her be able to, like when she woke up or when she appeared in this new place, she could automatically see like between the veil, so to speak, and see all the supernatural stuff. But it's set like in days where Black people are still kind of looked down upon. It's like in this Wild Western era. I haven't read it yet, but it sounded like something I would really like. Her name is Nettie Lonesome, and it says Nettie dreams of a greater life than toiling as a slave in the sandy desert. This is all she knows until she survives an attack by strangers and is awakened to the sinister truth of the world around her. Wake of Vultures is the first novel in the Shadow series, so I have a second one around here somewhere. Or if any of you have, this one's more paranormal, I think, the Etiquette and Espionage is like this is a spinoff series. This is not what I wanted. But the Gail Carriger series, which is like historical romance with like a steampunk and paranormal romance kick to it. I have a bunch of them. I have not read them yet. For some reason, I have 2 copies of that one. That one's hardcover. I go on Goodwill too much. Or, I don't know. I'll think of one and I'll upload a video and give you guys choices and make a poll when I narrow it down. Because what I really want to do is get into some of my favorites for those of you who have not read them, except most of you who are here are into most of them. So starting over the Alona Andrews series or the Immortals After Dark series or the, we ain't starting over the Shirley King series because, bitch, we be doing book club every day for a year trying to catch up on all these goddamn series. Is what we got. But we could do a more adult paranormal romance in that aspect. So I'll do that as well as try to figure out what happened to my comments with the titles in it. In the next video, I will announce the person who won the contest. So if you haven't thought of a good name for this book club and you want to do so and win, I don't know where it went, but the first book in the Kate Daniels series, if you have not read it, I have that in here somewhere, and that is for whoever picks the winning title of this book club. I'm still trying to think of something that encompasses like the supernatural stuff and liquor stuff, but girl, my brain, she ain't what she used to be, okay? So that, I believe, about covers it. I will upload all that stuff with the choices and the contest winner in the next video. So that gives you some more time if you want to participate and try to think of a name, to think of one. And then when I post that video, I'll give like a deadline and then you can continue to comment titles on there. But that is all I got for this video, guys. I will be more cognizant and coherent when I post an actual separate review of this book because I can actually like edit out the stupid stuff And I will talk to you guys later. It was great talking to you. Thank you for those of you who joined me, and really thank you for those y'all who listened to me rant like a crazy person for an hour and a half. Y'all rocks. And I will see you later. Bye. Okay. It's apparently not working. Good night, guys.